Today we have a pretty extensive agenda, and I'm really excited to have Anand Perry here from our product management team and Clive Behrman here from our product marketing team to talk about what's new and what's coming in Informatica Cloud. So the agenda is we'll go through a brief update on some things that we think our customers, our partners, and people who aren't as familiar with Informatica Cloud should be aware of. We will be taking questions. If you're watching today live, you can ask your questions through the chat panel, and we're going to dive into what's new in each area of the product line and talk a little bit about the roadmap as we talked about. So let's get going. So Informatica Cloud is really continuing to evolve this year. This is our second release this year, and as you can see, over really since 2006, when we first embarked on this journey to deliver a cloud-based integration service, we've really continued to evolve the service, expand the product portfolio, and really now the kinds of volumes we're running through the service are really worth mentioning here. Increasingly, we're processing over 2 billion transactions a day through the multi-tenant Informatica Cloud integration service. And we're going to talk about today how we've also expanded into new areas, and we're continuing to expand our core platform. So our mission is really, we're continuing to very much focus on helping you unlock the potential of the cloud. And as we'll talk about, our focus has really been on organizations who are investing increasingly on cloud applications and moving to cloud platforms. How do we make sure that the data in those platforms and those applications does not become siloed and fragmented, continues to be of high quality, so that you maximize your end user investment as well as your adoption of these systems? And over the course of the last year, Informatica has really expanded from core cloud integration, which we'll really spend a lot of time on today, talking through what's new, into cloud data quality and master data management. So we now have some very focused cloud master data management capabilities for Salesforce.com customers built natively on the Force.com platform. And then 2 months ago, we expanded into the area of process automation. And we've got Clive here to take us through what's new and what's coming in the area of process automation, again, for Salesforce.com customers. So let's just bring you into this briefly, Clive, before you take us through an update a little bit later. So first of all, welcome to Informatica. And maybe just tell us a little bit about the Cloud Extend product and how it fits with Informatica Cloud integration.
Well, I'm not going to say too much at the moment, Darren, but we've got some great features coming up, primarily that you can automate the way that your cloud application processes work. As it says there on the screen, save time and money, automating repetitive activities, and one of those activities would be kicking off or cloud synchronization tasks. So I'm going to save that for now. I'm going to come back and show you a bit more a bit later.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and as you can see here, the Cloud Extend product is already available on the App Exchange, and we've seen some really tremendous adoption already from our customers. So the other thing I wanted to highlight in terms of an update, for those of you who are still making your plans for June, it's only a couple of weeks away, but Informatica World is coming up fast, and we are really excited this year to have a whole track focused on hybrid IT and cloud integration and data management. So you can see a number of sessions that will be running at the conference. We've got some of our customers up for innovation awards, which we're excited about. Intuit, Ultimate Software, Blue Shield of California, and Canon, Australia. And we have a number of our customers and partners speaking at the conference. So if you want more information on Informatica World, you can see the URL there. It is on June 4th, and we will have a huge presence at the conference with most of our product management team there, staffing hands-on labs and participating in a big way. So we're really excited about that coming up in 2 weeks. So let's switch gears and dive into what's new in the summer release, why all of you are on today's broadcast. And first, we're going to talk about cloud integration. We're going to do a detailed demonstration of some new SAP connectivity, as well as go through some of the highlights of what's new in the cloud integration service. So let's talk about SAP. So Informatica, as many of you are longtime Informatica customers, You're probably familiar with the fact that we have pretty robust SAP connectivity with our on-premise Power Center, Power Exchange products. And up until recently, we've been able to work with you to connect to SAP through mappings or even maplets, really what you're building with our on-premise technology. So a key area of innovation with Informatica Cloud is the ability to share that work, to be able to build something in Power Center, build a mapping, and then run it in the cloud, or even to export one of your Informatica Cloud integration tasks to your Power Center environment. So historically, you've really needed the Power Center, Power Exchange technology to connect to SAP. And many of our customers will continue to do that thanks to that interoperability. Now, what we've introduced with our summer release is the first native SAP connectivity within Informatica Cloud. And Anand's going to give you a pretty detailed demonstration and show you how you can, within a few clicks, browse the business or technical descriptions of the SAP source or target. You can easily search the object repository, find what you need, and move forward with the connection to SAP in the cloud. So the use cases, we'll let Anand go through in a little bit the table reading and table writing functionality with this first release for the SAP connector. But the use cases are pretty much the obvious ones that you would expect. One is to help customers migrate either from SAP, typically it would be migrate some sort of data migration project that you're moving from SAP CRM to Salesforce CRM, for example. Another might be to extract data from SAP and get it into your data warehousing environment for analytics. And then a very common one that we see that you're going to see in the demonstration would be to schedule a data synchronization between the two systems. So you have accounts and contacts in SAP. From an ERP perspective, you want to make sure those are synchronized with your accounts and contacts in, say, Salesforce.com. And that's what Anand's going to show you. So why don't we just jump right into that? So I'm going to switch it over to you, Anand, and you can show us what this all looks like within the Cloud Integration Service.
Thank you, Darren. So today we want to briefly talk about the first use case that you mentioned, data migration. So the use case today is migrating customer data from SAP to Salesforce.com. And in the first screen that you're seeing is my SAP browser, where I've tagged certain customers for the migration purpose. Now, if I execute this, I see that I have 3 customers that have been tagged in SAP with ICS. That means they are scheduled to go into Salesforce. Now, I will quickly jump into my Salesforce, and in the view of the new accounts loaded this week, I have no accounts. And now I will move into the Informatica Cloud, and this is my home screen. And in the home screen, when you log in, you come into the activity logs. And my activity logs are clean at this point in time. I've cleared it out for the demo purposes. And we are going into the data synchronization application. This is the place where the SAP connectivity has been enabled. So data synchronization is a wizard-driven process, and I've built a couple of tasks already for this demo. The first task is SAP to Salesforce account sync. Now I'm going to quickly walk you through the steps involved in building this task. The step 1, which is the definition, you just have to give a name to the task. And most important aspect here is to choose the task operation. And the operation that I have enabled here is the upsert. So it does the insert as well as update an existing account. And you are free to choose any other operations that are suitable to you, insert, update, or delete. And I'm also going through the basic wizard mode. So I'm going to click next, which will take me into my sources. And in here, this is my SAP table connection, and we can quickly view that. Here is the type is SAP table connector. And here are the parameters that are required to get connected to the SAP instance. And one of the key parameters is the SAP RFC.ini. And this is very similar to your tnsnames.ora or odbc.ini file, but this is in the proprietary format of SAP. Now you also see that I've already in this task, I've chosen the table KNA1, which is the customer master in SAP, but we can go through the search capability that is also new in 2013. And in here, we can do a search for any object in the SAP, because SAP has over 80,000 tables and views. Now it's very difficult for you to scroll down and find what you are looking for. So this search capability allows you to search either on the technical names or on the business names. So business names in this situation are called the labels, and it also kind of displays what kind of an object it is. So I'm going to do a search on customer master. So, and I'm going to hit an enter. And right now ICS is going into SAP and doing a search on the SAP repository in real time and has pulled in all the objects that have customer master anywhere in the description.
Great.
Okay, now I'm going to cancel out of that. And one other new feature that we've added in the summer 2013 is display technical names or business names. So we have different kind of users on the cloud, and some of them are familiar with the technical names, and some of them are familiar with the business names. So right now what you're seeing here is KUNNR, LAND1. These are the technical names of SAP. These are a little bit cryptic. Only folks who are familiar with SAP will understand what those are. Now if I uncheck this box, I'm going to see more familiar names like customer and country that everybody can relate to. So this is a toggle feature. Depending upon who's working on it, they can basically move back and forth.
So the default would be to display the business names, and would any application that supports this isn't just an SAP feature, it's pretty much any application?
Yeah, this is generic to data synchronization service, but any application that supports both the business names and technical names will have this enabled.
Okay, great.
So I'm going to click next. And my target is Salesforce, and the object that I've chosen for this demo is my account object, and I will not basically go into the search here. So moving on to the next screen, which is my data filters. Here I have basically tagged any customer who has a search term SORTL equals to ICS. And if you remember, in the beginning of the demo, I showed in the SAP that I have tagged 3 customers with ICS. Therefore, only those 3 customers should be selected. Now, in addition to that, we also have added a new feature called data sorting. Now, we can basically sort the data based on one or more columns. I can basically go in here. Oh, I deleted that one, but so it's as simple as that. You know, I can add more fields to this and say ascending or descending. I'm going to move on to the next one, which is our field mapping. On the left-hand side, you find the source from SAP, which is the KNA1. On the right-hand side, you're seeing the target, which is the accounts object in Salesforce. Now, SAP has a lot of attributes defined when compared to the Salesforce. So we need to only pick and choose what we need, and that mapping happens with the drag and drop. Now, in addition to mapping the fields, we also have the capability of defining some complex transformations here. We can go into any of these things and click on that icon FX, which is functions, and we can basically have a host of functions already delivered to you, very similar like Excel-like functions that can be used by anyone. And this can be used for transforming the data, cleansing the data, massaging the data. And in addition to these powerful functions, we also have the lookups that can be performed against other applications to get additional data if required. Now, moving on to the very last step of this wizard building process. At the bottom, you see that we have a capability of using a standard API or a bulk API. Considering I'm only moving 3 records in this demo, I'm going to go with the standard API, but if you have large volumes, you can use the bulk API as well. And the last thing is upsert. Since I've chosen my operation for this task as upsert, I have to define an external ID that will be used. And if there's only one external ID defined on that object in Salesforce, our tool has the intelligence to use it by default. But if there's more than one, we have to basically define it. I have more than one, so I'm defining which is my external ID here. So it's time to run. So save and run.
So you could have set this up on a schedule, have it run every few minutes, or a nightly run, things like that. Okay.
And at this point in time, all the choices that we've made in the DSS task are being sent into SAP, and SAP is running an ABAP query at the back end, fetching the data, giving it back into ICS, and ICS is sending it out to Salesforce. Now, all of that has happened before I could finish my sentence. Now, it says that 3 records have passed through, and as you remember, in SAP we only had 3 accounts tagged with ICS, and those are 3 accounts. Now, I'll move on into the Salesforce application and do a refresh here. There are your 3 customer accounts that were in SAP that moved in through the Cloud DSS task. And as you can see, it was a matter of few clicks and very simple to use. And SAP connectivity for the very first time, we can say, has become extremely simple that anyone can build these tasks.
Wow, that's powerful. Can you, people often ask about, okay, so you just moved accounts. What if I wanted to move, the next I want to move contacts. So can you just walk through how you would set this up into a task flow?
Yes, I have that portion already set up. So if you look right now, all I've done is, as Darren has correctly pointed out, only I moved the account object in, and the contacts are blank. Now I have another task in my data synchronization application called the contact sync. Now if I were to run this, it is exactly the same, but it's pulling in from multiple tables. In SAP, the contacts, to get the information of the contact is a lot more complicated than the customer itself. So I'm going to 3 different tables in SAP and getting the data.
Okay.
Yeah, it's running. So yeah, and we have these 2 records coming in. So now I go back, do a refresh here once, go back into that same account that we have been before, Walter Technologies, and then you have Mr. Wolf, the manager, as a contact.
Great.
And what Darren was also asking is that, if I have these series of tasks that need to be run one after the other, we have a feature called task flows, which is nothing but a workflow in Power Center, very similar to that. So we can basically synchronize, in a series, what tasks need to run.
Okay.
Anything else, Darren?
Great. Yeah, so we're going to talk in a minute about some of the other new connectivity. Can you just show us the connectivity or the connectors area? And we'll just highlight some of the, how customers can go and partners can go and start working with connectors.
Yes, good question, Darren. And in the administration section, there is a tab called Connectors. And if you click that, you'll see all the connectors that are available on the Informatica platform here. They may not be enabled in your specific org. You may have to come here and then pick and choose which connector you want and click on that free trial, and that connector will automatically come into your org for a period of 30 days.
And you're actually highlighting a couple of new ones. So I know the AX and NAV, we've got some new native connectivity there for some of the Microsoft Dynamics family of ERP products. Any others to highlight with this release?
Those are the main ones, and in addition to SAP, of course.
Right.
So since SAP has already been enabled in my org, it will not be displayed here.
Okay. And the NetSuite, we've spent over the last few releases, a lot of work has been done on our NetSuite native connectivity as well. So great. Just wanted to highlight where people can go and grab connectors, and we'll also talk about our marketplace in a minute. Okay. So let's go back to the update. Thanks for that overview and demonstration on it. That was great. The next steps, as we highlighted, if you want to try out some of this new connectivity, definitely reach out to your Informatica Cloud Account Manager. You can go into that connection tab and actually start working with it. and reaching out to your account team. So when it comes to SAP and other ERP systems, this is just the beginning. With SAP, there's some other enhancements. Do you want to talk about what we're doing with HANA and how integration templates are moving forward?
Yes. So HANA is the next generation platform from SAP. It's both the database as well as an application platform. And SAP is investing a lot of R&D dollars behind HANA. And this is our very first attempt to get connected to HANA, and we are using the SAP provided HANA drivers, ODBC drivers, and you have full access to HANA through the ODBC connectivity, so both read and write. And in addition to that, what we have done is our integration templates. Most of you must be familiar with it, but it is a pattern-based integration, and we use currently we are using Microsoft Visio as a designer tool there, and we can either import the mappings that were built in the Power Center into the Visio, or you can build a pattern directly in the Visio. So in this release, what we are announcing is IDOC, reader and writer, and the MAPI transformations are natively supported inside of the MAV. That means you do not have to build a special maplet in Power Center and a plugin in the ICS. So these things are recognized within the MAV, and so it makes the development process and maintenance process a lot more simpler.
So this you're referring to the Visio, the tool. So that tool itself has gotten more powerful. But what I think also is where we're going directionally, and we're going to talk a bit about this at Informatica World, is the evolution of the design environment for these templates in general for Informatica Cloud. Anything you can comment on that?
Yes. So the Visio is external to Informatica Cloud today, and what the plans are to integrate that functionality into the Informatica Cloud UI itself, and that product is called CID.
The Cloud Integration Designer?
The Cloud Integration Designer, which is for more complex patterns, and this is going to be released in our next...
Towards the end of the year.
Towards the end of the year.
Yeah, so we have a preview of the Cloud Integration Designer. Some of our customers have been involved and partners in giving us early feedback. And if you want to get involved in that, do reach out to your account manager, and we can take you through where that's going directionally. So Anand, that was great. There's a couple of questions that have come up that I just want to make sure we can address here. So one is about the data sort filter that you showed. Was the data sort under filter step specific to SAP connections or all source types? And also the upsert ID field under step 6, was that a required field? Can you still map the ID, external ID field under field mapping?
Okay, the first one, currently the data sorting is only available for SAP, but the plan is to extend it out to all other connectors as well.
Okay.
And for the second one, yes, you can certainly map the external ID in the field mappings, but if you have more than one external ID and you have chosen the operation upsert, you have to define that in step 6 as well.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. So we'll look forward to that sorting for other types of connectivity in future releases. Now, we'll talk a bit about the ideas site. One place where you can go to really push for these things is through the community, and we've seen a lot of increased participation there as well. So I'm going to highlight that towards the end of the presentation today. So we talked about some of the new connectors. We have actually done a major revamp of Informatica Cloud on the marketplace. We have now one Informatica Cloud Marketplace Mall, and you can go to informaticamarketplace.com and see it there. But now when you go to Informatica Cloud Mall, you'll see the different types of applications, you'll see the connectors, templates that are available, as well as the process guides that Clive will talk about in a moment for the Cloud Extend product. Some of the new connectors, we're really moving fast with delivering new connectivity with Informatica Cloud, and some of this is because we have the toolkit available to build connectors for pretty much anything that has a Web Services API. So with this release, our team has delivered a SharePoint connector, working on some JSON and Hive connectivity for Hadoop deployments, big data types of deployments, and actually spent a lot of time documenting the connector so that our partners and customers can actually start to build their own connectors and ultimately deliver them through the marketplace channel. So the next steps is if you go to informaticamarketplace.com And from the top tab of Malls, you'll see Informatica Cloud. And then there you'll see really the 4 different types of what we call blocks that are available for Informatica Cloud customers and partners. So increasingly, you're going to see a tight connection between the marketplace and the Informatica Cloud service itself. So the ability to try things is available now, whether it's templates or connectors. You can go and get them, and in most cases, bring them into your org directly from the marketplace. So another area of new functionality for the summer release is in the area of cloud data masking. If you might recall, with our spring release, we introduced a preview program for a new application that is really designed to help you mask data for development and testing purposes. So for example, many of you who are doing dev test work, you want a complete copy, a complete sandbox environment where you do that testing. Now, it's critical, and certainly in many industries, it's mandatory that data is masked as you do that dev test work. And you don't want to put your company at risk, any kind of security breach, by doing test and development work on really sensitive customer data. So the masking application is available with this release. It's available really as sort of we're calling a 1.0 release. It's available by request. So reach out to your account manager, and we can turn this on for you. It's not part of any of our core editions. We're making the 1.0 available at no additional charge, because we want you to try it. We want to get some feedback, and we're going to be rolling out the next rev of this in subsequent releases. So the next steps, if you want to try it out, you can either reach out to your account manager, or you can go to the website and sign up that way. Initially, it is, as I said, a free application. We'll provision it for you, and in the next release, we're going to be introducing additions and some packaging around this service as it adds a number of new features going forward. So that is available to you today, the Cloud Data Masking app, and look to see a number of enhancements in the subsequent releases in this area. So let's switch gears and talk a little bit about Cloud Master Data Management. Many of you on today's call are already working with our Cloud MDM solution, and what we've seen in the area of Cloud Master Data Management is 2 key use cases that have emerged beyond some of the sort of basic deduplication requirements that most Salesforce.com customers have. One is in the area of multi-org consolidation. So in the last release, we introduced some new functionality in this area, and the idea is many of you, if you're like Informatica, as you do acquisitions, as you grow, you end up with multiple instances or orgs of Salesforce. So it's not just about connecting Salesforce to other systems, it's making sure that those multiple systems of Salesforce are well connected to one another. So customers typically have a few options here, and we have a white paper on this topic. You can either merge the orgs, or consolidate them. You can federate the org so that you have the data between multiple instances synchronized, or you can create a reporting hub type of structure where you have all of your information flowing through one central org for reporting and analytics purposes. So multi-org consolidation is a key area of focus for our Cloud MDM solution. And what's new in this release is another key challenge that we find Salesforce.com customers have is in the area of hierarchy management. So being able to roll up hierarchies into a single parent, and then to be able to bring in hierarchies from other systems into that single view. So what's new in the hierarchy management functionality is what we call support for multidimensional hierarchies. So for example, you might have Salesforce, D&B, you might have a legal hierarchy. In this screenshot, the top of the parent account would be McDonald's, and you want to make sure all the subsidiaries roll into that single ultimate parent. So some pretty advanced functionality in the area of hierarchy management, and if this is a new topic for you, a new area, our team would definitely want to take you through it and introduce you to the Cloud MDM service. It's really a key driver of, again, making sure you have the highest possible adoption of Salesforce and you're getting maximum return on that investment. So Informatica Cloud MDM is also on the App Exchange, and in terms of what it can do, it can as you see here, cleanse, standardize, enrich data, eliminate duplications. It obviously ties in the integration capabilities of Informatica Cloud integration, manage and view hierarchies, and then work to consolidate or integrate or even federate multiple orgs of Salesforce. So let's close with you, Clive. Let's bring you back in here to talk about Cloud Extend, how it works, and really the core value proposition, and then where this is going within the Informatica Cloud family of services.
Perfect. Thanks, Darren. Hopefully, as said, you've heard about great connectivity with external systems. We've heard about Cloud MDM, and we get to Salesforce and we look at our screens and they look like this, except they don't look like this. They look like this. These huge long forms with all of this data that is very difficult to manage and process and work with. And, well, really, we get to this, right? So even though SAP out on the top right-hand side there might be our system of record for something like orders or our manufacturing data or stuff like that, our Salesforce is kind of like our system of record for how we sell, how we interface with our customers, how we work across multiple geographies. So we've got that bridge on the right, we've got the massive long forms on the left. We're creating duplicate data, and maybe we're working with multiple Salesforce orgs. And for our end users, whether they're customer support folks, whether they're sales folks, they never really know how to forget, sort of how to work with the data. Maybe they forget to fill in key data as they're working throughout their day. For example, they might forget to put the key value in for SAP in order for that data synchronization to work. Or when they create a new lead or a new opportunity, perhaps there's a new person or there's a person exists in the database in Salesforce or in another Salesforce org that is the same person. But to the salesperson or to the customer support manager, they don't know that. They don't have the time to go and ferret around and fix it. And so that's really how the data inside our sort of Salesforce organization that was pristine gets really dirty. People miss out data, they go through inconsistent processes, they forget to add stuff, things get duped, and of course maybe that SAP data in a different system of record doesn't get updated, or in fact it just doesn't know it should be updated. So really that's the main value prop of Cloud Extend. We're going to add process to help keep all of those things clean. So as we said, on the left here, our current implementation, we struggle to remember best practices, and we're hunting and pecking across that user interface. And what we're going to do, we're going to add a streamlined process to actually help our users, and we're going to walk them through guides, essentially what we call guides, which are like little wizards that step you through step by step, making sure that you do, say, the right opportunity to order process. So the value prop there, users are guided through. That's our end SAP users. We've got that. Now we'll have that universal access to data that's on-premise and obviously in SAP. And to build all these things, you can do it yourself, and hard hand coding is not required. Very similar philosophy to as we saw with the data mapping in SAP. We're following the wizard, and we're not actually writing any code. So on the left it's hard, and obviously on the right we're making it a lot easier. And the two things for Cloud Extend, as we said, the person that understands the business process, they map out and create that process. And the person on the right, our end users, they follow those guides, whether they're embedded into Salesforce, whether you're using them on the iPad, or an optimized experience for your smartphone. Now, with the Summer 13 release, we've actually got 4 nice new areas. One of them is to run Informatica integration tasks. So as you build your process, you can just plop in a little step there that will actually kick off one of those tasks that we saw earlier. We've got a native, in fact, a beta of an iPhone app. So currently, even though the mobile interface works on BlackBerry or iPhone or Android, we're actually going to provide also a native option that will help iPhone users to acquire the application much more easily. You'll be able to download it from the App Store as opposed to, sort of setting up a URL and things like that. So the third option is process reports. So we'll be able to see, well, currently you can see what processes run, how efficiently things are running, who's been doing what the outcomes are for each of these running processes. But that was sort of held internally to the cloud application, if you like. And with this release, we're going to flip that around and embed a whole bunch of that data into Salesforce. So you'll be able to use Salesforce for reporting, and that's obviously more a natural feel for those Salesforce users that, not only now can I build and design and run my process automation steps through Salesforce, but I can also create the reports through Salesforce too, so I don't have to use a different application to do that. So that's another great thing. And lastly, it's a sort of small but important step. You've always been able to customize sort of like the way guides look and feel on the phone or within the browser, but now we're actually having a feature that will allow us to create themes. We have two themes already that deploy a mobile and a default theme, but you'll be able to create more themes yourself. So that's quite useful if, I don't know, maybe you've got different divisions and you maybe want a different look and feel, or maybe different branding for each one of those divisions. Although your guide might be the same, you can choose different themes there, so that'll be quite nice too. So just to reinforce what the cloud integration operability looks like, just like we work with any of the objects in Salesforce, we now have a step that essentially calls those cloud integration workflow tasks. And in this instance, you see the diagram there is going to kick off that task within SAP, so then SAP can do the synchronization. So that's another option that you have, not just to synchronize or schedule when that data transfer can occur, but you can now kick that off as part of a workflow that we have that you've built inside of Cloud Extend. So that's all awesome. And even though I have SAP there, SAP is just an example. Any workflow task that you have in cloud integration will be kicked off in exactly the same manner. So whether that's Oracle or SAP or any of the other connectors that you endpoint systems that you might talk to.
Yeah, Clive, this is pretty powerful. I definitely want to
powerful.
I want to encourage everybody who has not yet seen the Cloud Extend, and what it looks like from an end user perspective. This is really going to allow you to do some pretty complex things in a simplified way. So again, I think some pretty powerful functionality, all running behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, as you say, that's the great thing, Darren, right? Because in my opportunity to order example, you could have a build out a tree as you see there, and then as soon as progress your opportunity to a particular stage, or it's reached a closed one, maybe SAP generates the order. So as soon as you've changed that status to closed one, you'll be able to synchronize that data and push that order information and synchronize that order information right at that sort of almost in real time, really, for SAP. So it's a huge task.
So Clive, let me ask a question that's come in. Is one that you've gotten a few times. I know we did a webinar recently on this topic. So is Cloud Extend built on top of Salesforce Visual Flow, or is Cloud Extend its own entity?
Cloud Extend is its own entity. For our guests that asked that question, I will point them afterwards to a really nice video of the comparison between Cloud Extend and Salesforce Visual Flow. You'll see immediately. Salesforce Flow is a nice tool. It comes with the platform, but terribly complicated. And of course, this is my product, so you might think I'm a little bit biased, but I honestly did a very objective comparison between the two products, and just things like you really need to have a developer mindset for visual flow, right? You need to understand things like variables and record IDs and things like that, and that's not the philosophy behind Cloud Extend. The Cloud Extend is to make it as simple as possible, so even folks like line of business folks like me, like marketing folks, can create a business process to automate and to sort of automate the tasks that I would do to just make my life much more productive. And I come back to my example again, in the opportunity to order example, you could have a integration here with SAP or a different system, or even in fact assign tasks to other folks that just really streamline that business process and streamline your business entirely.
Yep.
So then just native Salesforce reporting. So now you can create, as we have there, process dashboards for the process that you're running, a beta of a native iPhone app. There's and theme customization. So I'm going to hand it back to you, but if anybody wants to do a live comparison between Visual Flow and our tool, or want to try it, then contact us and we'll help you out.
Okay, excellent. So there's a few other things we just want to wrap up with. So if you can make me the presenter again, I'll just wrap here. I want to definitely thank you for taking us through this. I know many of you out there might not be as familiar with both the Cloud MDM solution and the Cloud Extend solution, and we definitely want to make sure you have a look at them and are aware of what they can do, especially for Salesforce.com customers, which I know not all of you are on today's call. So there is lots of information available on the new release, and I just wanted to spend a minute on the community site. What you'll find if you've never been out to the Informatica Cloud community is you'll find that our product management team, we have our usability team, really some core technical specialists are very, very active on the community, and it's a great way to post questions, to post ideas for features. We have an ideas tab on there. And one new area that we wanted to highlight here is a technical blog that we've launched. And we're really excited to say that some of our partners have started providing content. We've seen a few customers post here. So if you want to share some tips and tricks, and really get involved in the community, we would really love that. You can send me an email. We can follow up directly, or go through your account manager. But do take a minute to look at that community. And if you haven't joined it, I think you'll find some pretty impressive resources out there. Another area to highlight is the developer content around our connector toolkit, around templates. It'll really help you take Informatica Cloud to the next level. So with that, I also wanted to do one quick reminder about Informatica World. We're again going to be there. All of us on the product side will be at the conference. We look forward to talking with many customers and partners and helping you all understand what you can do with Informatica Cloud today and how our roadmap is shaping up. So lots of things coming. Informatica is really excited about where we're going with our cloud solution, and it will be highlighted in a big way at Informatica World. So with that, we will be sharing this presentation and slides with you all, and make sure you have the latest details. But as always, go to the community site and you can get the release notes and other details on what's new in the summer release. So thank you all for attending, and we look forward to talking to you soon.